Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to you all, wherever you are getting our signals from. This is Fine TV. It's your usual Edusa Hour that comes your way every Sunday from the usual hours of 5 to 6. Today being Ramadan, one of the episodes, this is the second episode we are having in this holy month. Due to that, actually, we had to reschedule the time to at least earlier than the usual time, which is 5. So today with me here is, a host of great individuals who are very much off with the topic of discussion that we are about to discuss here. And then they are going to take us through to, whatever needs to be known when it comes to this topic. So without wasting much time, I'll just have to do the introduction or perhaps leave them to actually introduce themselves for the benefit of audience. But then before moving further, I'll just tell you I have my co-host here who is Mamadou Sanu Jallo. He'll also be assisting me to make sure the program is lively and to make sure the right information sinks down to the viewers who are currently glued to this particular TV. So I will start with from my right hand side with the honorable member who is currently serving as the Vice President of the Education Students Association. Honorable, you can introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thank God we are here present, and I thank Fine TV for having us here available. I also thank the 13th Executive Council of the Education Students Association. I am Yunus Ambai, the Vice President of the Council. I am here to speak on topic discussion regarding the issues of education students, and I look forward to a better reception.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mbai. He'll be very much, useful today because he is someone who has been tirelessly working to ensure some of the problems of education students, especially in terms of marks issues, are solved. So he'll talk us through to whatever his office has done in conjunction with, the Education and Research Ministry, who are very much, on their laurels to make sure the students are out of this problem that they are currently in. So I will also allow the my co-host to also introduce himself.
Yes, viewers from anywhere you are watching us, it is your education hour, and the education hour discuss about issues pertaining to students in the School of Education in the University of the Gambia. And today with us, we have the Minister for Education and Research for Edusa, and Honorable Yunus Ambai, the Vice President. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we move on to the Minister of Education and Research Minister.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, viewers. Good afternoon to all of you, Honorable Minister. We greet you, my colleague, the Honorable VP of Edusa. We greet you, and Mr. Jallo as well. We greet you. So here we are again in Fine TV. I am Usman Cham, your Education and Research Minister for Edusa Education Student Association. So we are obliged to be here, for a second time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable.
Exactly. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Like they said, actually, we'll start the discussion now, and then we'll start with the Honorable VP, the Vice President, who is Yunus Ambai. Honorable, it has been actually a devastating scenario when it comes to students of the education, that is School of Education and University. When you look at the school and then you look at the depth of the school and the caliber of students that are there, not forgetting the side of the lecturers also. We have very good lecturers, perhaps on degree basis. They are very good degrees. But then if you look at it overall, you find out that there are many complaints that are emanating from students, in terms of their marks issues and so on. From your own perspective, where do you think the problem lies?
Well, that is a very good question, and it's a very pressing issue that need addressing. Regarding the issue of education students, we have 9 schools in the University of 7 schools in the University of the Gambia, and among them we have the School of Education as one of the most matured institutions, a school in the university. And I mean matured mean many of our students have been taken at in many schools for many years, and they have great experience in what they are doing. Having poor marks or poor grades in certain courses is as a result of some maybe unsatisfactory marking schemes by some lecturers, or as a result of the fact that some certain lecturers are teaching or lecturing courses that they don't have that understanding or in-depth knowledge on. And it may be down to the understanding level of the students also from the delivery of the lecturer. Some students may be in the class and the lecturer may deliver below expectations. And you know, in the university, it's not unlike basic and secondary education where you are being taught. Here you are being lectured, where ample time is not given for you to understand. So you have to redouble your belt as a student to make sure that you perform well in exams. As an issue, marking scheme or grading of students has become a problem for the School of Education. So you can see the past convocation ceremony which just occurred. We have few education students who were awarded summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or cum laude in general. This is down to the grading system in the School of Education. And we are of no different to other schools when it comes to the marking scheme or the grading system of the university.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you believe the grading system, because it is poor in the School of Education, that is why we are not performing when it comes to accumulating some of these accolades you mentioned.
Definitely, definitely. One can say that maybe a number of different factors that may cause that, but one of the factors include that thing, which the grading system, the way the lecturers award grades, and sometimes certain lecturers are there. Their assessment, the pattern of assessment is very poor. They give you 100% in terms of their assessments. So this will likely reduce the number of marks that you may obtain for a certain course as far as assessment is concerned. We know particularly well that the University of the Gambia, according to the assessment rule, exam is 50 and the assessment is 50. But certain lecturers in the School of Education, they normally go across 100% in their assessment. And this is affecting the number of marks that students obtain for their particular courses.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable. We will come back to you, and then we'll have ample time to discuss about so many issues. So, Mr. Sanu Jallo, you might have one.
Yes, taking it from where Honorable Mbai stopped, that is, he made mention of grading system as an issue, one of the problems that are causing education students to score low marks.
Low marks, exactly.
So I want to ask the Honorable Minister, has your ministry engaged the faculty regarding this issue?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so very much. Definitely. Like my colleague has said, we have a problem in our school of education, and like he said, in the school we have matured students. So what we mean by mature students, these are students who have completed grade 12, went to college, did PDC, HTC, or did HTC, and from there they moved to the university. So that qualifies us to be mature students, unlike, other students in other school where direct from grade 12 they go to the university. So of course, as a ministry, one of our role is to enhance dialogue with the relevant authorities, on academic matters. And we are always on our toes to ensure that what has to be done is done by our ministry. So when this issue came, the first thing that we did was to diagnose the problem, because in problem solving, you need to diagnose first. You cannot just jump into conclusion without knowing any thing about the issue. So that was why we developed a form, that students who are affected can write. Because like for us, we have seen two ways in solving this. In problem solving, you have what we call knowing the problem, that is understanding the problem, and then there you also look at the causes. You have the symptoms and the cause. Yeah, the symptom and the cause.
Yeah.
So what we did was just basically to know the symptoms, and the symptoms of this, indicated to us that there's problem, because like in a course, if you have, let's say, over 20 people got F and over 20 people got D, obviously there's a problem.
Sure.
So we engage the authorities, we engage the dean, we engage the faculty officials. We also engage our partners. That is, we are directly working with the issue. We engage the education and research minister for issue on this issue. And of course, we've come up with a solution that we can follow to solve it.
Okay,
Good, yeah.
that's very good. I think that is a laudable, achievement from your ministry. So, Mr. Mbai, you've heard, what Honorable said, that his ministry is doing all it can to make sure this problem is solved. Your office, that is the office of the vice president, you are the overseer of all the ministries that are in the 13th executive council. What's your own take on what he just said, and then how has the collaboration been in order to solve this problem that is really happening at this moment?
Well, anyway, as he mentioned,
Yeah.
he mentioned key parts of our problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
Normally, we try to find the causes of the problem.
Exactly.
Then we also try to know the diagnosis, that is symptoms of the problem. As far as this issue of poor grading is concerned, we have worked over 2 weeks now regarding this issue, and what we did was to find information. Investigate.
Sure.
We investigated, and we realized through our platforms on the WhatsApp pages, we invited all students who were affected to list their names, their mark numbers, in their various courses. After doing such, we also provided a document, as he said, where students indicate their names and mark number, signature, and the grade that they were awarded. Which
how was the turnout? Because we understand the students usually don't, respond to such.
Yes, as you said, the turnout, it is somehow it's a topsy-turvy, because in the school course like educational administration, a lot of students registered. Over 40 students were affected. Yes, and
they all indicated.
Yeah, all indicated. But under the educational technology, we have fewer students who registered their
40 students coming on board. That is at least a surprise.
Definitely.
Usually you don't have that number.
And for the records, over 20 of them failed the course. Over 20 of them failed the course.
That is
they are awarded F in the course.
That is serious.
And it is a very serious and an alarming issue for the School of Education, because these are students who have
really
the
serious.
understanding, who have experience, who had worked with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, and as teachers, they know how they know the ways to examine. They know how evaluation takes place and how to respond to evaluations. So I don't think they will perform below expectations as far as education is concerned.
So that gives birth to the next topic of discussion, or perhaps next agenda in this particular topic that we are discussing. That is considering the understanding or the experience of education students. You find out that some of these courses that they have been very much affair with, or that they have been very much associated to. Some of them have been teaching them for over 6 years or so. And coming to the university, having low grades in such courses, what do you think? Perhaps, Mr. Sanu, we might, bring this thing
Yes,
up,
Mr.
and then ask, how is this possible? How do you expect, such teachers from the schools, to come and then have low grades in such courses?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sane.
Yeah.
As educationists, when statistics are out, we normally scrutinize.
Sure.
And there are certain signals in the statistics. When we see them, we understand there is a problem somewhere.
We might want the minister to dilate more on that.
Yes, I just want to add something on that. Especially when you have a higher number of students failing certain courses. Like normally as educationists, we understand there should be the bell curve. The bell curve that is having a lesser students having a fail, a higher students, number of higher students having passed, and a number of lower students having distinction.
Sure.
But whereas the curve diverts, and there is higher students that number of higher students that fail, then there is a problem somewhere.
Sure.
And I am sure your ministry have been doing something to see what is the actual problem to that manage.
That's very good. Yes, Honorable, you are right. Like I said, we have a problem. And from what we got as symptoms of this issue, we were prevailed upon that there is a problem. There's a fault, a very giant fault for that matter in our school.
Okay.
Like he said, it's not possible you teach a subject or you lecture a course for a whole semester, and you have 85% or 90% of your students fail.
Not continuous, so that means the lecturer failed.
Thank you.
Of course,
that is the point, straight. So you realize, that was what we realized, So, of course, like I said, these are two things. You have the symptoms, you also have the cause. So the cause here, when we talk about the cause, is why for your score in the course. So, is failed.
Sure.
Yeah, 0 to 39 is failed. So grading systems varies. they are not the same. Like the one that is being used by the University of the Gambia could be different from the one that is being used by say, Anta Diop University in Senegal.
Sure.
So, but in the University of the Gambia, 0 to 39 is fail.
It's fail, yeah.
So it means the student, putting together the continuous assessment plus examination, the student cannot cross 40.
Yeah.
And here we are,
and we are talking about
and here
educational
we are
courses.
talking of educational courses.
Yeah.
So why I in fact started by saying, we are mature students in the sense that we have gone through the college. The courses that we did at the college, are similar to what we are doing here.
Yeah.
Even if you do not study and then they give you an exam or a test, at least you can write something because you have the experience. We have a course like, let's say, methodology of teaching. So that one, teaches you about the pedagogy, the method that you have to apply to teach a particular concept in the subject that you are teaching. So you realize if you are asked a question in that, even if you don't study, you can write something. I don't say you will have 100%, but at least you can have some concept to submit.
As a teacher, we don't expect you to actually have a low grade.
Low grade. So basically, what we are indicating here is there is a problem.
Yeah.
There is a problem, and this problem could be, poor delivery. It can be caused by poor delivery. It can be caused by poor record keeping, because if the lecturer has not kept the records properly, he might just say, okay, let me just give this guy this, give this guy that. That is happening. It can also be caused by not marking the scripts.
Okay.
Like in the Gambia, there's that phenomenon we call rubber, right?
Yeah.
So in fact, like we teachers will do it. So you are in this school, you are in that school. Sometimes you say, okay, you don't have time to do all what you have to do as a teacher, and like you are lecturing, let's say a course, where you have a population of 90 students, or you have a population of 120 students or 150 students. So you have to look at things meticulously. You have to mark. You have to look at what they write, whether they have got the concept or they don't have the concept. So you need to look at all those things. So if you do not have time to look at all those, you may end up just giving them marks and then pack the papers.
Yeah.
You see, so these are all issues. But like I said, here we cannot determine the course for now. The course is determined when we engage the lecturer concerned, and he talks, and also the students who are also affected also talk. There we can determine whether the course is from the lecturer or the course is from the student. So as a ministry or as a council, that's what we are doing. We are working, hand in glove with the VP, Office of the Vice President, to ensure that we get to this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mbai, it is a norm in the University of the Gambia, not particularly in School of Education, but the university in general, that students sometimes have collide papers. Their papers collide in an examination.
Paper collision, yeah.
You have collision of papers. Sometimes you have two papers at the same time on the same day. And from an educational point of view, I think the reliability
issues here, because the university is not in only one campus. You have different campuses. You can have a major, a minor course in anything, and if they collide, this means you are put in a very big test. It happened to me personally. I'm a victim of circumstance.
Okay.
In my previous semester, I had a course here in Brikama, at the same time one in Kanifing, but I had to sit for a paper in Brikama at the same time. And the moment I finished, I had no time to go out, nowhere to go. I just had to write for the other paper. So you see, the preparation towards the papers is limited, and it may affect the output of the student in terms of that paper. Regarding the council, we are working on to make some reformation as far as the union itself is concerned. The main union, that is University of the Gambia Students Union, the Education Ministry of it particularly, we are discussing with them to make sure we send in a blueprint that will sort out some of the issues that are disturbing students as far as the timetables of authorities, to make sure that delivery of courses is done to the maximum and students improve better. As I said, we as a council, we are not settling for anything less. We are going to work hand in glove with the relevant ministries. As far as the Ministry of Education is concerned in this issue, yes. Regarding collision of papers, when papers collide, they give the student little or no option to perform better in that examination. And as a result, it is a two-directional problem. You may face problem in the first paper, that is, your mind will always be on the second paper. When you face the second paper, you are exhausted also from performing in the first paper. This limit your output or the energy levels of the student as far as examination is. And I know the University of the Gambia will make sure they see how best they can do this, because this problem is also maybe as a result of the limited classrooms or examination halls available to the university, which is understandable. I think the situation will be solved if we have to transfer to Faraba in the near future. As it is said before, that maybe the next semester also we'll be going there.
Okay, coming to our own school, that is the School of Education, and then the topic that we are discussing is about the students having poor grades, from their educational courses that they are doing. So, as a ministry and as the vice president of the council, what do you think? I will bring this question back again. That is, what do you think? The honorable has already said he believes perhaps the conduct of certain lecturers in keeping the scripts. Sometimes the scripts are lost, or sometimes they don't even mark the scripts. He feels like those are one of the factors perhaps that could lead to this issue. So do you subscribe to this, or do you think differently?
Yeah, obviously, there are some of the factors that cause poor performance of students and poor grading as well.
Are you also going? Are you all biased or what?
No, I'm coming. I'm coming on top. A coin has two sides. You have to look at the two sides of the coin.
So you want to roll both
yes,
sides?
I have to rub on both sides. Regarding the side he's talking about, it's definitely true. Some lecturers have a lot of courses. You are lecturing educational administration, you are lecturing history of education, you are lecturing another course. So one of these courses, you are going to have two classes in one of these courses. You may have two classes. Yes. Including the excluding the other two courses, and in those two courses, you may also have three classes or at least one class or two classes. So definitely, you will see a lecturer will be having five classes that he has to mark, and each class may contain at least 65 students. At least 65 students.
So that is
a huge number. It's almost about 300 students that you are marking. And some of the lecturers are very old. They are of old age, and regarding their energy level is not that strong. And marking all those scripts, the assignments, having proper records, as he said, from the beginning of the assessment to the examination, sometimes become a problem. Anything can happen there. They can lose your grades. As far as these issues are concerned, some of the students in the School of Education are calling. Even today, I was called by a student that my grade in methodology of education is not being entered, and we were giving them assurance that it will be entered before the end of the week. And on the other side, regarding students, some of us, the students, we have problems. We lack orientation. That is a big issue. When you call for orientation, even only first-year students bother to come. You see, orientation is not for only first-year students, but for first-year students, second-year, third-year, and fourth-year students should observe
continuous student can be updated on what is happening. Actually,
because there are certain issues that you missed. Yes, you may not have attended your orientation during your time. One, or you attended it, but certain things were being escaped you.
Exactly. Or new things came up,
or two things came up, as you said. And due to that, you may fail to have the correct institutional understanding of the University of the Gambia, how things operate, or the modus operandi of certain lecturers. And the issue is also on the side of the way we register courses. The registration of courses. You will see students who are in their first year will be registering courses in level 3 courses. And every course has what we call prerequisites. So the moment I am in year 1, I register for a course that is in year 3, I may cause problem for myself. Yes, for example, if I want to do a course, maybe I'll be biased to mention intermediate micro as an economic student. If I want to do intermediate micro, I don't have an understanding in calculus. I don't have understanding in basic statistics. I don't do maybe quantitative methods. These are 3 courses that maybe level 101 or 102 as well become prerequisites for the intermediate microeconomics. They are for me to perform well in intermediate in micro, maybe questionable, maybe very difficult.
Yeah, it will be
yes,
difficult.
because I lack that those courses that can give me clue on how to perform well in those courses.
That is
it happened in the School of Education.
Yeah.
Look at in literature. If you are doing introduction to the study of Gambian literature, you should have done introduction to the study of literature.
Sure.
But if you are doing introduction study of Gambian literature, you don't study in introduction to the study of general literature, you may have a problem. And in the end, you start blaming the lecturer. You see, it becomes a problem.
So here we are not going to be one-sided. We need to look at both sides of the coin.
A coin has two sides.
Sure.
A problem also may have two sides.
Two sides or more.
Yeah, that is one point, one issue regarding on the side of the student. Another side of the student is failure to do assessment. Yeah, we have lecturers who will tell you that they will give you all their course description. And in that course description, you'll be told that this is in the time that assessment, when I give you assessment, this is the time, or any assessment they give, they will tell you the deadline for submission of assessment. If you fail to submit your assessment on time, you are likely not doing what the lecturer asks of you. Sure. And in the end, you may perform below expectation, you will have lesser marks. Yes, as some lecturers will tell you that submission may be on the 20th. Then you wait until on the 22nd or 21st, you submit your assessment. Yeah. You may not be, your assessment may not yet be taken. Sure. And you will lose at least 10 to 20 marks from that examination. Therefore, you are coming out of the A plus group. Yeah. You are coming from the A plus.
Whereby your GPA also winds down.
Is coming down. Yeah. We are seeing that point. You come also on the examination. Some people don't read very well. They said, okay, I did well on the assessment. Let me just try this exam. I understand it. They don't prepare for the exam very well. And in the end, you perform below expectation. It's another problem. Yeah. Assessments are issues that, the way we record the assessment, the way we seek the assessment, and the way the lecturers record those assessments are the issues that are affecting our grades on that time. Okay. But in the examination, as the assistant host or the co-host here, Mr. Sanusi Jallo mentioned, or asked regarding the collision of two courses. Yeah. When collision happens, also the ability of a student to perform better in those two courses is going to be questionable. Sure. That is psychologically, you'll be disturbed. Physically, you will be also taken up.
I think I experienced it last semester. So, well, I had 3 papers on the same day.
Let me just add.
Very good.
Okay. Before you add on to that, I want to ask you a question, maybe to both of you, because you made mention earlier on that in the School of Education, we have mature students. That is, we have teachers, people with experience. But don't you think this rubber syndrome, the rubber syndrome, the last minute syndrome, LMD, so don't you think this is also a contributing factor?
That could also be a factor.
I will allow my minister to delve into that.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's very true. We have a poor, some of us have poor reading habit. At the beginning of every semester, in fact, it is mandatory upon every lecturer to submit the course outline to the students before the commencement or before the start of the proper lecture.
Sure.
So what happens there is, the lecturer will tell you these are the things that we are going to cover. One, two, these are the materials that we'll be using, or these are the materials that I get my lecture material from. They are all going to be captured. Yeah. So I think, because of our time schedule, we cannot, look at this critically, or we cannot, read intensively so that we can at least better prepare ourselves. But most of the time, you will see, many students, they will wait until, let's say, tomorrow's exams, or exam starts next week, and then they start the LMD.com, start to capitalize. I think we have to stop this. It doesn't help. Last minute it doesn't help, And as much as we are students, let us always be prepared. Let us not read for exams. This university should not just prepare us to pass exams. This university should prepare us to have that concept, that knowledge, that will help us to create employment and not, in fact, to be employed. When you finish, at least you should have that knowledge of creating something where you will employ people to come and work, and not to rely on people to call you for appointment or for employment. So, but we have to change that culture. That culture of last minute devil has to change. Yes, we are mature students. We have, got experience, but these are concepts that we did not learn before, or these are concepts that we did not learn, well before. So it's now we are going further into this. because things are in sequence. Just like you have your room, it has different stages. So knowledge is like that. It is a building block. So what you learn in the senior secondary school is advanced in the university. So if you go for your masters as well, you have a higher level of that. So if you say, okay, I have learned this before, so no need for me to struggle. At the end of the day, you'll be affected. So I think we need to change our attitude towards reading. Let us read. I think if we read, things can be better.
I think that is a continuous problem to all students. In fact, sometimes we write out dispatches, we feel like people might not read. So that is an issue actually, and then we actually don't expect students of education students to actually have this problem. So this is actually this is why we are having this hour, which is the education, Edusa Hour on Fine TV, to enlighten the students, to tell them actually what is happening in the school and what the ministry is doing towards, assisting them, in fact, assisting ourselves, because we are all students and we are facing this issue that we are mentioning here. Last semester it happened to me. I had 3 papers in the same day. So I suffered actually psychologically. Affected me. 2 papers collide at the same time, and then the other one at a later time. So these are issues that we have. Some of them, like like the VP said, some of them are actually our own cause. We are the cause of some of the faults that we actually experience, and some of them could be associated with the lecturer that are actually taking the courses. Because you even if you look at it, perhaps somebody might say you are biased being a student, but then you look at it from another perspective. You don't expect about 85% of the students to fail a course. If actually the lecturer does not have any issue, I don't think that will happen. Actually, I believe there are certain students, no matter what you do, they'll still fail. They have to still come back. But then this is an issue. You want to add something? Yeah.
Okay, but this issue that we are talking about,
Yeah.
it doesn't rule out that this problem that we currently face, is not genuine.
Sure, it is. It is.
Yeah, this problem of series of F
Yeah.
in educational administration is truly genuine, because we are saying that it's not possible you lecture a course a whole semester and you come to realize that 80% or 85% or 95% of your students fail.
Yeah, and what makes it concrete, in fact, is that we are students who are facing the problem. We are not actually speculating or trying to hear from, trying to say hearsay. It's not a hearsay song. It's something that we live. So we understand.
I was worried. I was in my room, and one of these students, text me on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Honorable Minister, I have an issue. I asked him, what is the problem? He said, I got an F, in education administration.
Okay.
And 2022, 2023 was supposed to be my final semester. Wow. But this is causing me problem now. I said, wow.
That is a big problem.
It took me time before I replied to this guy. You see? So what happens is it's not proper. It's not done, because in fact, we cannot accept this. In fact, authorities cannot accept this. This is something that is being said all over in this university, that what happened to the students in education administration is truly not justifiable.
That is very true. So the VP wants to add something to that.
Quite disheartening, as you mentioned, because we have students who are coming for to end at the end of their semester. Like you mentioned, a student called you and he said, "This is my final semester, 2022-2023." Yeah. You can understand that many students in the School of Education are under scholarships.
Sure.
You are either under MOHAS, MOPSI, or MRC Holland, or any other donor agent. But in the end, when you finish your semester, the number of years you spend in the university is definitely 4 years.
4 years,
And after those 4 years, the scholarship donors will think that, or believe that, yes, your scholarship is finished. And automatically your scholarship stops. So if you are not financially that strong, financially endowed, then it means that cost is causing you a problem to pay for a semester.
Yeah.
You are going to pay $16,000 or above that for a single semester, even if you are to do a single course.
Yeah.
And you are seeing this is bringing some inequalities in as far as issues are concerned, education is concerned, because we have people who are in the university by virtue of the fact that they are on the scholarship. But depending on our family financial strength, some of us may not have come to the university. So if your lecturer is given an F to a course and causing a graduate graduating student to repeat a course or repeat a semester,
prolong his
semester, I mean, you are definitely disturbing the progress of his or her educational journey, and in fact, the employability of that individual or his professional journey in the end, because we are living in a competitive world, and the Gambia is not an exception. If you graduate here and your colleague graduate before you, he may likely get job before you. The offers are available, and it's who come first serve. And we are having this problem. I wanted to come on to a point where the minister mentioned students are failing courses, and we are mature students. It's not only about being mature students. These students who fail these courses are students who did very well in other courses outside the school of education that are definitely more complicated, as you are saying, than our courses. A student who maybe have A in basic statistics cannot fail educational administration or measurement and evaluation. A student who did maybe courses in politics or management or in chemistry or in the sciences or in the environmental sciences, they do those courses. In the ICT department, students are there, do programming, they have A's, B's. They come to educational administration, a course that, before exam, you'll be sitting down calculating your A's, saying that, yes, I'm going to have A in educational admin, A in curriculum, A in methodology, A in education. To your dismay or to your utmost dismay, in the end, you start having seeing F or unsatisfactory mark like C minus. Let me tell you one thing. If you are in the third year, you start having C's. My brother, you are in trouble to maintain summa cum laude. You are in trouble to have magna cum laude. You are in fact in deep trouble to even have to have cum laude. So what you need to fight for is honors. If you check the fresh graduates from this convocation ceremony, I will tell you, you have less than 4 students who had cum laude in the School of Education. You will have less than 5 students who had honors in the School of Education. And these are students who have been teaching for the last, some of them for the last 10 to 15 years. They have been teaching. It's not, we cannot take advantage of only being teaching, but we look at the experience that they gathered along the line. Whether you are a teacher or not, somebody who finished school in the last 15 years and have been engaged, not been sitting, been engaged, come to the university, you cannot be failing your own school courses. Yes. Failure is, it happens. Yes, people fail, as we mentioned. Some of our students is to their own making. Some of them, they don't read. Some of them, the way you registered your courses, it affected you on studying or having the adequate time for your lectures or the courses that you registered for. Imagine a student, I saw a student recently who registered for 3 courses in one day. I told the students, how do you manage these things? These things have an impact on you, a negative impact. But the student may be calculating the financial limitations. Maybe you are saying, I don't have to pay fares from Serekunda for 3 days. Let me pay 1 day for 3 courses. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you.
At the end, it haunts you.
It haunts you down. Because in the end, you face a course 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, or from 5 to 7. In the end, you are exhausted. You may not read among all those 3 courses. You may not read for a single course.
And if they are from the same faculty, they might collide.
And if they are from the same faculty, as you said, they may collide. And if they collide, you are affected. So these are issues that we need to do. And I think orientation, as I mentioned earlier, is the main issue. And I think orientation the issue of orientation should be changed. It should not be only happening during the opening of semesters. I think this should happen
a continuous process. I believe on our own part, that is the 13 Executive Council. Have you done anything towards that? That is, in trying to at least serve as a mentor sort of to students.
Yes, yes, I would like to talk more on that, but I will reserve that to the education minister. We had that. We had a mentorship platform. We have a mentorship platform, of course. Our mentorship platform boasts of over hundreds of students in the School of Education. And fortunately, we were able to organize a mentorship training program where we had a lot of students. We oriented them on how to reference their works, or we oriented them on how to avoid plagiarism. We also oriented them on how to cite works when they are making proper citation for their assignment or referencing and organizing bibliographies. These are issues that are affecting even continuous students. There are continuous students in year 3. I'm telling you, some of our courses, those who have this F we are complaining about, if you check, they have problems in the assignments more than in the exams. Because in the assignments, you are asked to reference, and you don't know how to reference.
It becomes a problem.
You do your full assignment. You do not even cite.
And the relevance of referencing cannot be overemphasized.
No. If you don't reference, you are plagiarizing. This is academic dishonesty. The university will not train you, certify you with a degree when you cannot reference your work. If you go for a master's, you may expose the university wrongly.
Exactly.
So this is it. And lecturers take advantage of that. They will also follow your marks through referencing. You may do the whole work properly, but you did not reference the work. It's not your work. There is no work that is first hand. Every work has been done by somebody before. You have to give acknowledgement to people who did works on that. Considering the orientation, I mean, my minister is here. He can tell you more about that. Let me give him the opportunity to dilate on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, like I said, as a council, we are cognizant of the fact that students have role in performance.
Yeah.
Because we need to submit commitment so that we can perform better. And it was unfortunate for the first, the fresh students who joined us, this semester. They were not given orientation by the school. There were some issues. So when that happened, we said there's need for us to do something as a council. So we had to, create what we call a mentorship platform that was initiated by the office of the vice president. We need to do something for these people because I'm working very closely with him. Our two ministries or our two sectors bodies are very related. So we have that WhatsApp platform where we ask them to join the platform. So they asked different questions, of what to do and what not to do, and we are there to guide them. So that is not enough. We, called for a training, a capacity building on mentors, on this referencing, on selection of courses. What courses you are to select and what courses you are not to. Good. He said it. It's very significant. You cannot be in your first year.
Yeah.
You go and register a 400 level course. If you do that, you are disturbing yourself.
Yeah.
Let's say in the School of Education, we have a course titled Comparative Education, right? In the School of Education, you also have a course, titled Philosophy of Education. So philosophy is a 100-level course. It teaches you the philosophy of education, issues that surrounds education. You go to history of education, it teaches you like the background of the Gambia education. So these are things that good from the madrasa, majalis, and to where we are today.
Exactly.
So these are things that you need to understand as a student before you go and then do the comparison.
Exactly.
So the comparison is the last stage, but it just comes, you go straight and register a 400 level course that affects you at the end of the day. So we said we need to
perform well in that course will be very difficult.
Very difficult. So we said we need to do something. So we had that, we were here from morning to afternoon.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So in fact, they really appreciated this. In fact, some had to unregister some of the courses that they registered before.
Wow.
After the training, some had to unregister because some, in fact, they registered courses that they should not do in the school. So we said, Alhamdulillah, if you had left them to continue, then they will face problem in the subsequent years.
I think the university need to recognize the efforts of the 13 Executive Council. Edusa is really doing great.
That's correct. But again, I have to thank the Honorable Vice President. He is definitely doing great because like all these initiation that we are talking about, these mentorship programs, he is always, knocking my doors all the time. Mr. Cham, we have to do this. He knows that we have to do it. Yeah. And Alhamdulillah, we are going very fine. So this is just a start. We have a lot of programs ahead.
I think this is the importance of the sub-associations.
Perfect, yeah, sure.
Actually, they should be the brains, the brain box of all students. They should speak for them. And I believe the Edusa executives are really doing good. So that is actually something that we need to commend the 13 Executive Council of Edusa.
Yes, Mr. Sane, it's true that the 13 Executive Council, since inception, they have been doing wonders, and I think they deserve thumbs up. Yes. Coming to the issue of registration, but there is certain things is affecting students because if you want to register, sometimes you are not cleared early. You will find out that the 100 level courses, some of them are full, and to some extent, sometimes it is impossible to register because if you look at certain 100 level courses, they are all about 100 students. So, like if you look at 101, 102, so this is where you learn how to develop a thesis, how to get the foundation, how to reference, how to write a bibliography. And if you are not obliged and if you are not privileged to register in your first semester for those courses, and you had to register other 6 courses, and you do not have the knowledge to reference. So obviously this will have an impact on your mark on those courses you register, because you will be required to write assignments that you need to reference, or sometimes to some extent write a bibliography, or to develop in fact an essay. You know, from grade 12 probably you learn how to develop an essay. But when you come to 101 here, it enlightens, it widens,
it gives you a different
it gives you a different different dimension on how to approach it. So if you lack this, I think this also has some effects on our marks, especially for year ones.
Yes, I may not waste more time on that, because this is an issue that we think there is a recommendation that need to be done regarding registration. The portal should be created in a way that if you are in year 1, you cannot register year 4 course.
It should restrict you.
But now, where are they going to start from? Because we already have people who are in the system, who are victims. So the moment you do that, if you stop like some of the victims who registered for level 4, level 3 courses and missed level 2 and level 1 courses, the moment the system have changed already, mean the system will automatically deny them. So obviously it cannot be in effect right now. But in the future, we think we have to, university need to sanitize the registration process in the portal. The portal need to be made, to be developed, to be updated, and to be well secured in a way that it synchronizes the students' registration process with the level of courses he required or requires as a student. Like if I'm in year 1, the moment I want to register level 2 courses, the portal will be red, kick me out, or indicate red. You cannot register.
I think the executives have done something about the clearance issue.
Okay.
The clearance. I believe, previously we've seen the efforts of the education ministry towards that. That is to make sure students are cleared on time. I think that was also an issue that gives birth to students registering lately.
The clearance issue is a perennial problem in the University of the Gambia. These are scholarships that are given by student scholarship donors. We have MOHAS, MOPSI, and MRC Holland as chief scholarship donors in the university. But we have to understand certain things. As executives, we normally make investigations to know the problem, so that when students ask you, you will have a clue on what to tell them. You cannot, somebody cannot come to you and you give with a problem and you cannot give an information. It will be disheartening for your position or in your capacity in that role. What we do is we went on to find information from relevant bodies, and to myself, what I came to realize is the scholarships comes in bursaries, like number of students. You have over 200 students given scholarship. Clearance of those students is not done at once. So they do it in bits. I get in. And sometimes, like, let's say MRC Holland, they have over hundreds of students obtaining their scholarships. But they have what we call some fulfillment that you need to do, a requirement, which is you have to provide your transcript after every semester. And students, as I said, orientation is lacking. Students don't know that. There are students here who almost failed or were on the verge of losing their sponsors because they don't submit their transcripts. And after every semester, it's not after every 2 semesters, after every semester, you need to submit your transcript. So that MRC Holland can know that, yes, you are performing based on the provisions of the scholarship. Every scholarship has a provision. You must be a student who had produced above 3.0. So if you are not producing 3.0 for the past 2 semesters, automatically you are going to be kicked out of the scholarship. These are provisions that we have found. These are scholarship provisions in the scholarship that MRC put in place, that these are things you need to fulfill, requirement for the scholarship. You see, and in that also there is a problem from the lecturers. A lecturer who failed to the drama and creative writing, acting. There are many students who are complaining that their marks are not available.
Almost all the drama.
Good. And if your mark is not available, your transcript, you cannot submit your transcript with 2.85 or 2.95 because at least you expect something from that course, so that you can submit to MRC Hall and you'll be considered.
Very good.
So these are the problems that we are facing. The problem is students fail to be well oriented. Even though they are oriented, they fail to submit their transcripts on time. Another thing, lecturers also don't submit grades, and these are affecting registration. administration, because if you don't submit your grade to your transcript to MRC Holland, MRC Holland may not consider you for clearance. And if you are not considered for clearance, you are not going to be cleared at the right time. If you are not cleared at the right time, you may not be able to register the courses that you require. These are the problems, and I know we will do our best with the education and teacher administration.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mbai, and thank you, Honorable Usman Cham. Now, I think we have to divert a little bit away from the issue of.
I can add point on.
Okay, no problem. There's still time, so we can.
Okay, you can do that. Then we will see where we'll take the diversion.
Yes, that's correct. Like the point that he said is very key. Sometimes we fail the system as students. During the time of this clearance, I went to MOPSI with those who were affected because we realized that there were many people who were not cleared. Their names were not submitted by MOPSI to UTG. So when we went there, we were opportune to meet the HR director and also Seko Sanyang. So some of our colleagues, they deferred their programs. In fact, MOPSI in their system, what they have there is, like Mr. X should have completed by now. Yeah. But Mr. X deferred his program without writing to MOPSI that they deferred. So MOPSI did not send their names. We had many people. In fact, they were asked to go and see the PS because the PS is the one who gives the mandate for your tuition fee to be paid. Sekou said, I don't have any authority to submit your name. If I do that, it means I am conditioning the PS to pay. And if the money is not available, then there's a problem. So what we will advise our people is, if you know that you defer your program, write and submit to your sponsors, those who are sponsoring you. If you are sponsored by MOPSI, write to them that I have a problem, I am sick, or I have this problem, that is why I cannot continue. I have to defer this course. If you are sponsored by MRC Holland Foundation, equally write to them. So this has to be done. And in fact, we discussed with them, we told them that we need to do verification to avoid this issue of late clearance. We discussed with the director of human resource at MOPSI that after everything, when we are settled, I will go there together with the sponsor committee so that we can do a verification of all those who have been sponsored by MOPSI, so that come next semester, when we start clearance, they are cleared once. There will not be any delay in clearance. So we are doing this. But students should ensure that what they're supposed to do, let them do it. If you're supposed to submit your transcript, please submit your transcript. If you defer and you need to write to MOPSI, write to MOPSI. This will help you. And this will also ease the work on us.
Thank you very much, and we also thank. We are actually acknowledging the presence of our viewers who are currently viewing from the Facebook Live platform. We thank them very much. Suleiman Bojang, we thank you very much, and then we also thank Bubakar Tanjigora, and then all the viewers that are currently viewing. We actually appreciate your support and then your following actually. So like he said, we now move on to another point, which is the pod delivery, lecture delivery by lecturers at the School of Education. So Mr. Sanu, you might talk us through that particular point.
Yes, I know the 13th Executive Council, since inception, they have been doing very well to address issues, burning issues in the School of Education, as mentioned by the Vice President, perennial issues. So, and this, the issue of poor lecture delivery in the School of Education, it is a perennial issue. Mr. Mbai, what's your take on that?
This is one of the biggest problems we are faced with in the School of Education. I think having a square peg in the round hole may not serve the purpose.
Sure.
We have certain lecturers in the University of the Gambia. They are lecturing certain courses. With all due respect to their credibility, their credentials, their antecedent, their pedigree, or their historical background. I have too much respect for them. And I believe the University of the Gambia management also made perfect recruitment that they deem is fit for us. But regarding what we are facing on the ground, practically, there are certain lecturers, they are performing below expectations.
Very good.
We cannot mention names. We cannot even mention courses, because mentioning their courses means mentioning their names.
Sure.
We understand that students in the University of the Gambia, not only in the School of Education, but as far as our program is concerned, we are on our council is concerned, we are here for the students of the School of Education. And in the School of Education, we have lecturers who are performing well below expectation. These are lecturers who don't have the understanding of the courses that are there. Imagine a lecturer who is less than 2 years in the Gambia or less than a year in the Gambia and is giving a course to lecture on history of education in the Gambia, which have to take you, navigate you through the background history of the Gambia from maybe 17th centuries, 18th centuries to 20th century or to 21st century. You are talking about the history, the political bringing of the educational system from where it started, from the madrasas to the majalis to the Arabic schools, to where primary education, to the first senior schools in the game, to the first curriculum plan that we are given by the ministry. These are issues that our own Gambian lecturers should be handling. But mind you, these are courses that were handled by Gambian lecturers. But due to the fact that they were performing, their performance was not impressive, based on how they grade or based on how they perform, the courses were transferred to other foreign lecturers.
So you think that is that a solution to the problem?
For the management, they will believe, yes, this is the way that we are solving the problem.
As a student,
as a student, I don't think so. I don't think so, because we have lecturers who are lecturing courses. We have students. Okay, let's imagine you have a lecturer who does bachelor's. From bachelor's degree, straight you go to master's. Master's, you go to PhD. You have never taught for at least 7 good years across. You come and you are lecturing in a course, in a course that it has to be a political course, because when you talk about educational system of the Gambia, educational history of education in the Gambia, it's educational politics.
At least you need to know
the background, political culture of the people of the Gambia.
Sure.
You need to understand that. But if I am from from Togo, Ghana, or Nigeria, or South Africa, and I'm giving that course, I'm just going to go with my basic understanding of that course. But the political affiliation, political affiliation or link with the of the course and the people of the Gambia or the situations in the Gambia may be affected. That is one cause of it. History of education in the Gambia may be an example. I'm just giving an example. You have other courses, other lecturers. They have masters. You check in their profile, you are impressed. You get to their classes, they cannot deliver. They cannot give you the delivery that you want, and you cannot deny that. You cannot deny their qualification, because their results or documents are presentable everywhere. So these are things that are affecting, and I know it's based on the pedagogy. They lack that pedagogy. Certain lecturers, due to the fact that they cannot deliver very well, is pedagogy. Another issue is the classroom management control
of those lecturers,
how they manage their classes. I can tell you, there are certain students, if you tell them this lecturer is taking this course, they all register automatically. Yes,
due to the fact that
they have a clue about the lecturer's ability to give a correct delivery or satisfactory delivery of that course. You tell a student that Mr. X is lecturing this course or Dr. S is lecturing this course, they will tell you, boy, I'm on register. Or you see, a senior student will tell you, hey, you know what, boy, I'm on register this course. But the lecturer cannot do anything about this course. I'm a victim of a different case, whereby I registered a course with a lecturer who is very good at delivering. He is one of the best in terms of delivery. But when he's come to giving awarding marks, they say he's stingy with marks. And to tell you, from my first year to now, I have always been registering courses with that lecturer. I believe in that, because if that doesn't happen, in the end, in the next 20 years, if I come to the Gambia or University of the Gambia, I may be part of those lecturers giving poor delivery. Because I've been always following those lecturers who will award me marks with poor delivery. So I rather go for a lecturer who will award me C or B or B minus and give me something that I can live with for life.
Is that a serious testimony? So students actually feel like, they feel the opposite.
Copy the style of that lecturer.
Most definitely no. Most definitely. But you mentioned something which is very important. The lecturer told you all what he needs in his course. He told you the course description, the course outline, the materials he used, and the things that he needs expect from students. These are the ways in which you can fail from that lecturer. But it's all about delivery. Yes, it's not about delivery.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Mr. Cham, don't you think some of the lecturers want to grade us according to their standards?
Very good. That's a good question.
Anyways, it is intuitive to answer this question because like I may not be there to determine their standards. They have their papers, they have their certificates, they have their degrees and so on. You see, only what I can do is to judge whether what they are doing is correct or is not correct because I'm a student. If a lecturer stands before me and lectures,
You can ascertain, you
I
can-
can tell whether this one is a good lecturer or not a good lecturer.
Sure.
But how do they grade us at their own level? Because when they are doing that, I am not present.
Yeah, exactly.
When they are recording their marks, I am not present.
Yeah.
When they are setting their questions, I'm not present. I do not know whether they look at things that they are okay with. They said that, as their question or not. I was not present. But what we can determine here is how we are handled as students in School of Education has to be looked into.
Yeah,
It's not helping us.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll come to the recommendation. Now, to wrap things up, we'll go to our last agenda, which is the nature of posting, like posting students from the School of Education. We believe the school actually comprises of teachers or students who are to be teachers in the future. Perhaps, that is actually or actually the caliber of the school, the nature of the school, that it enrolls, students who were teachers or perhaps students who are to be teachers later in the future. So we might have a different opinion on this. That is why we highlighted and brought it here to discuss, about it. Actually, we believe perhaps students should not only be, taken to schools to teach as teachers. So our honorable members are here. Honorable VP, what's your take on this particular topic?
This is another pressing issue. It's an oversight by the education faculty and the maybe university in general. Yes. We have. I want to differ with you regarding the students that are coming to the School of Education. Are not only going to be teachers.
Yeah.
We have different stakeholders present in the Ministry of Education and Basic and Secondary Education and the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. As far as the systems are concerned, we have various institutions that individuals can work.
Yeah.
For example, in the MOPSI, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, you can be a curriculum officer. You are doing curriculum and instruction in the University of the Gambia as a course.
Okay.
If you are given a chance to go for an internship in the curriculum department, it gives you an opportunity. Not so good. You are doing educational administration. This means you can work in different regional education offices. REDs.
Yeah.
You can work in the Regional Education Directorate here in Brikama here. You can work in all the other 7 regional education directorates. You can work there. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you are doing other courses, even your major alone your major and your minor combined can help you. Somebody who is doing major in English, minor in maybe information technology, ICT, could serve as a very good resource person in the Ministry of Higher Education, in their communication department or in their technical department. When you take all of those students, you put them in the system to be teaching. I don't deny teaching as a teaching practice as a course of its own for the 3rd year students. I don't deny that, with all due respect for the course, for the teaching practice. But I believe teaching practice should not be every student should not be taken for teaching practice.
It should not be only centralized.
It should not be only centralized. Certain people are there. The ministry should high time realize that certain students are to be incorporated into their systems.
So at least we can have a better future.
We can have a better future for them. You don't need to go extensively or difficulties in trying to have a recruitment for those ministries. You have students in the University of the Gambia, major in maybe economics, minor in English, major in mathematics, minor in geography, geography major, minor in history. These are students that can be taken to work in various ministries, in different parts of the ministries. You are in the ministry, you have different institutions. For example, in the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, as I said, you have the school system. You have in the school, you have the principal, you have the vice principal, you have the rest of the teachers. You also have what you call ancillary staff. I get it. Okay, you in the end you have what you call cluster monitors. Some of the students who are here can serve as cluster monitors. They can be trained to become cluster monitors.
Thank you very much.
You have other people who can serve as principal education officers or education officers.
Sure.
You have people who can serve as secretary in the regional education office.
Sure.
You have some people who can work in the ministries, serve as education officers. Like in the ministry, you have planning, you have directorate of planning, you have director of curriculum, you have what we call maybe evaluation, you have records. These are different people that you can take. From what you said, okay, all students who are coming for the School of Education teaching practice. This means those opportunities you are giving them to students who are not from the School of Education.
Sure, you are depriving them from
You are indirectly depriving them of those opportunities. And this means you are indirectly creating opportunities for students who are not from the School of Education to obtain those chances.
Sure. You understand that other schools are doing it actually. They are offering internship to their students, So you think, the schools should also have this opportunity because those students from perhaps the School of Business and Public Administration, we are actually, doing courses with them. I am doing economics, and he is also doing economics as a minor. But we are doing courses with them, and we understand that they have internship in those institutions. So before they finish their programs, they become very much good at the work that they are doing. So being in the School of Education does not mean you should only be in the school. What he thinks, you think is a very good point.
I really support his point. And I think this issue was raised when we had coach call with the dean. We submitted this point to him. To Harada. We should not always be in the classroom. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is a very vast ministry.
Very good.
It covers a lot of things. And of course they need people to serve in that ministry. So we are here. We are dedicated teachers. The reason why we are still in the system is simply you have the regional directors. You have also the headquarters as well. There are different directorates in the headquarters. So we can be used, or they can create slots for some of us to go in and be there. This is not for our own interest only, but this is also paid off. So like I said, then they have to invest to help the person because the person is not okay with the system. But take someone who understands the system. You just allow that person, you give the person little time, the person will catch up and then do what you want him to do. He does what you want him to do. So I think they have to do this. The School of Education has to diversify, not only to be posting students into school to teach, but also they can take some to ministry, they can take some to the regional offices, they can take some, in fact, to work with the cluster monitors. This can be done. To help the system.
So
I support his point.
On a concluding note, what other message do you have, to tell the students at the moment?
Okay, what my concluding message will be like those who are affected by those who are failed by this particular lecturer, who are worried as at now, they do not know what to do and what not to do. We are telling you that we are with you. I told you the last time, if an Eduson has a problem, we all have a problem.
Sure.
So we are not going to relax until and unless this issue is solved. And currently we are hard on it. We are working with the authorities that are concerned. We were in the dean's office on Friday, and we discussed with her. We've taken an approach. We have the academic administrative approach. That is the approach that we are using to solve this problem. So on Monday, we're going back to our office. Already we have, written our letters, all are, stamped. So now what is left is to push it forward. So we are just advising them to be meek and mild and understand that we are with them in this situation.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable, and thank you, Mr. Mbai. Well, just to add on to what Mbai said before I give my closing remarks, and thank the Honorable
You might
guest.
allow him to give his closing
Yes,
remarks.
I
From
will
there, you
allow
give your
Mr.
comment.
Mbai to give his closing remarks, then I will give mine.
Okay, well, to be honest, this platform has created an opportunity for us
Sure.
as student leaders and as well as students in general to dilate on some of the problems, perhaps lament on some of the problems that we are facing. And we definitely appreciate the presence of Fine TV and the Information Public Relation Office of the 13th Executive Council with your help and the rest of your people, your host, the host, and both the co-host and the host. We definitely appreciate this gesture. Regarding my recommendations towards the students, especially affected students of the School of Education, regarding poor grading or awards of marks, and those experiencing poor delivery as a problem. And at the same time, students facing posting, the direct posting for teaching practice, when they could have entered into different mainstream ministries or departments. My recommendation is for them is to know that actually we are fighting day and night. We are together with them. As the minister said, let them not be meek or mild. We are there for them, and we will definitely do the needful. We will do the necessary. We cannot do it alone. We cannot put undue pressure on them also. They should not at the same time also put undue pressure on us, because as student leaders, we are just there to fight for their welfare. We are not direct people who solve their welfare. We just tender the information or the problem to the rightful authorities. And these are things that I assert them that we have done. We are still doing. We are not going to give up. We have faced our dean, Professor Ajufo. She is a very, very understanding lady. Definitely, our faculty officer, Madam Jenaba Drame, is another exceptional lady. These are people, Mr. Loom and the others. They have helped us. Whenever we come to their door knocking, the doors are always open. And we are very much glad that these are things that promote the welfare of the students as far as we, the council, is concerned also. We cannot do it alone. They also cannot do it alone. They need to facilitate the activities, but they need information. That information comes from us. We also rely on the students who are bold enough to face us and tell us these are the issues that are affecting them. And my recommendation on the issue of grading is the issue is not stopping here. We have tendered our formal writings, that is letter to the dean. We have copied it to the vice chancellor and all other relevant authorities on the issue, and we are waiting for information to be given to us or a feedback from them on the issue of poor grading. And I know whoever is listening to this will know that the School of Education is not the only school facing these problems. It is an issue that is a general issue affecting the students in the University of the Gambia, and it's a global problem, because issues are becoming technical, and then having individuals who know all about those issues is becoming difficult. So we need to accept or appreciate what we have on the ground, but nonetheless we also need to make sure that the administration of the University of the Gambia understand that we need better. They need to do better, and I believe they will do better.
Yes. And we are imploring on all of them to actually.
Obviously. Honorable Sanu, I appreciate we on the behalf of the council, on behalf of the 13th Executive Council, or particularly the President, Honorable Alassane Ba. Alassane is somebody who is a very, very giant tree. Alassane is always hardworking. He always pushes me up, including his defatigable Secretary General, Bojang. Whenever I see his message, I tremble on the bed. I say, wow, who is this guy? This Bojang, what is he talking about? We have one of the best Secretary Generals. I can tell you for the record. Bojang, his work is basically on realistic documentation, timely announcements of issues, and proper directional administration. His administration is always directional, and he always speaks about what ought to be done, irrespective of how. Bojang in no means has ever offended me in terms of information. But whenever I see his message, I feel like about to cry. I say, wow, this guy is going to give me So he's a very sovereign person, and I really appreciate. At the same time, the works of the technical and logistic ministry, whenever we have programs, they also come up on board, provide the necessary equipment or facility where we need to have our programs. We also have other ministries, relevant sport ministries, the sport ministry reuniting everybody in the School of Education.
All the
ministries. I would like to count the one on one, but I cannot do it. For those ministries whom I don't mention, know that you are also included in this program, and we appreciate your timely performance of your services and your duties to education students. We say Edusa must not die, and in the service of students we remain for life.
Thank you very much. So the SG, you've heard it from your VP. That is his testimony, and then actually all the ministries, we acknowledge your efforts. Mr. Sam?
Yes, thank you, Honorable by Edusa must not die. And Mr. Cham, you guys have been great. Thank you. And to our viewers, please keep watching Fine TV. Keep watching your favorite hour, Edusa Hour. Whenever we are here, it's issues concerning students, and those issues we will bring in guests who will dilate on those issues and make sure those issues are settled.
Yeah.
And it is a bye from us. Keep watching Fine TV. Keep watching the Edusa Hour. Thank you.
Thank you very much.